Great Earth. I currently have a sea ice concentration of Antarctica pulled up here. Play. You see where it gets the lowest point of ice. While it looks like it's building back up, it might be due to fast ice spreading out instead of actual ice forming. We'll look at that. See, with the fast ice, it might be obscuring actual sea ice. It looks like it's building back up, but it might be just because of fast ice that's causing what looks like spreading out. This is, we're looking at Antarctica here, the Larsen shelves. We'll start there and then work our way west, looking at different areas, potential ice failure. Even though it looks like ice is on the positive growth, it could be due to fast ice spreading out and melting instead of actual ice forming. Let's take a look. You see these cracks. It's slush. You see here. A couple of floating icebergs heading north. A lot of ice is on the move. These are the Larsen shelves here. Push play. See how the ice moves. It's fast ice, but it's also push play. See how it moves. It tears. It's not frozen ice. It's not true fast ice. What's going on here is it's a thin membrane of ice stretching across the area. Now with these giant pieces of ice that are floating around, you can see here, play again, it all moves together as one, breaks apart. And there's a lot of movement here with these ice. This is of a height of 5 kilometers. It is a 12-kilometer long iceberg. It is much larger than it might look at first. This is what I'm talking about here with fast ice. With what we were looking at a moment ago, the way that it looked like ice is on the positive growth. It might be, I don't want to use the word misnomer, but it's the first word that comes to mind. It's not this is a big one here. You see here these icebergs leave a negative wake behind themselves. And that a lot that play here. Right here. He leaves this negative wake. So it's not thick ice. It is fast ice. And it's thinning out rapidly. As the fast ice thins out, you can see here their iceberg here. A lot of giant pieces of ice just floating around, doing what they do, and again leaving this negative wake here. As it turns, as it bobs and moves, it leaves trails of fast ice broken up in its wake. Looks like there's a lot of movement here, a lot of ice, a lot of large pieces of ice, because again, we're talking about in the miles, kilometers. 47 kilometers. Or about 30 miles. These are not small pieces of ice floating around. And it's surrounded by constantly changing fast ice. You see why there's this negative wake behind it. It's because of the size of these bodies of ice. And we'll take a look at the actual continent. We can see here these cracks, lines. We look at these. We can determine where there's some action happening. A lot of cracks. 6.9 kilometers. These cracks will eventually sever off large pieces of ice, large pieces of continental ice, not just fast ice. That is more troubling than just losing fast ice in a season. Which play a little bit higher up here. As we head west, currently look at this. Take a look at this in a time lapse. Push play. Yes, one thing about this ice flow, they are all over the place. Unfortunate sight to see. Let me just make some time lapses of areas. A lot of little pieces of ice. See here, a lot of little icebergs here. Well, they're little compared to what we've been seeing. Yeah, it's a lot of action. Action as in little pieces of ice moving around. All these icebergs here. They look tiny compared to what we've been seeing, but you know, these are pretty large still compared to if you were to be on top of one. This ice moves so fast. Oh, look at that. That's what we call fast ice all around here. Split, split. Ice that snaps apart, breaks apart, thins out and thins out. Membrane becomes so thin it stretches and snaps. One more time. See just how much sea ice changes. If what is true that the Arctic, Antarctic heat up many times faster than the rest of the world, then what we're seeing here is ice cycling out at a rapid pace that it's not going to be able to keep up with because there's no belt line anymore. It's affecting the continental ice and the shelves of Antarctica more than it ever has before. And we continue to look. We hunt for icebergs and changes in continental ice around the edges of Antarctica. Play. Wow, yeah, there's all this here. Just open water. Like a lot of liquid fluid rushes off the top of Antarctica and hits the water and pushes all that ice out. Could be a reason for this kind of activity. And we start to get to a lot of different icebergs just floating around. As we can see, there's fast ice that's missing. And we're taking a look at the edges of Antarctica, the actual continental ice shelves and pieces of ice broken off, floating away, getting stuck in these loops of no ice to flying, freezing over. You see a lot of different point of interest, like this here. A lot of tension and breaks apart. They look massive here. These cracks here, these lines. Push play. Wow, yeah, this is from the 2nd, May 2nd. That is a lot of fast ice absent. What we're looking at, what we're talking about. And it's thin, it's not going to last. Boom. Push play again. Push play. A lot of fast ice that's moving. Not seeing any changes yet. It just looks open. Have I been on the way long? Let's look. We continue. Like an iceberg graveyard right here. It looks like some separation here. Screaming. Big absence of fast ice here. Comes and goes, and it's not supposed to. It's not supposed to have these dips of low ice. You know, there's supposed to be some ice on your way to get to Antarctica. Always been the story of sailing through Antarctica and icebreakers, but without the need for them because there's no sea ice to break through, becomes problematic. Play here. Grab this. Play. I just realized that the date wasn't showing up there at the top right. Okay, there we go. 11th, 12. Okay, so it keeps the date now. besides that, where did this come from? Look at that. This is more or less what I've been saying. I say the negative wake, that it leaves a path for the iceberg dart through. Rapidly accelerates it to a new area. Again, a more negative wake, causing it to lurch. This is Peter Island. You see, it looks another world is floating around here. This looks like an iceberg graveyard. Wow. 2 bigger pieces, 3, 4, 5 bigger pieces. Not enough scans to really go off here. It looks like these are all traveling further and further north, outside of the Arctic Circle. Antarctica isn't like what we probably would remember it 100 years ago. Of course not. But it's chilling. We're talking about sea level rise, and as water warms, expands, there's a lot of factors that play into Antarctica warming so many times faster than other parts of the world, same as North the Arctic. And just keep going until we have more scans to go by. There we go. Back at it. Yes, here, push play. An absence of fast ice. Nope. Looks same. Yeah, it looks gnarly here. That looks gnarly. Try not to go on by. Looks separated by imaging. You look at where it went, or where it was. There it is. Sailing west. Whoa. Very large. Getting moved around since. We're almost back to where we started. Okay, look at this iceberg here. Huge. A lot of action on that as it slowly and actually rather quickly, swiftly is moving further north. A lot of cracks here. Push play. Change. No discernible change, I should say. Push play. Not stable. It's unstable ice. It's unstable fast ice. Is the best way I think to put it. That is unstable fast ice. And it looks like a lot of. No discernible change. It looks fresh. Hell, that is fresh. I move my head out of the way for this one. I'll just move it over. Let's take a look here. Push play. That's a new iceberg. That's a new iceberg. This is very recent, very new. This is a completely new break, completely new iceberg. That is a brand new iceberg. Moving out. Okay, I found an actual article about it. This is from Landsat Science, NASA.gov. This is from 4 days ago. Antarctic ice shelf spawns iceberg A83. So what we're looking at here is this is iceberg A83. It is a designation. It is an actual iceberg. It isn't just like this is an actual iceberg. Did not see this going ahead of time, so it's rather exciting. Iceberg designation A83. Very interesting. Let's play one more time. Let's say between the 11th and the 22nd, it broke off. A large wedge of ice broke from Antarctica's Brunt ice shelf in late May 2024, the most recent in a series of notable icebergs spawned by the shelf in the past few years. Oh, they even have this here. That's it. That's the iceberg that we're looking at. Wow. That's the exact area too. No, what else? See, breaking apart and it's floating away as we just looked at, plenty of icebergs of that size, but nothing that has just broken free just recently. Very, very exciting. Although Iceberg Calvin is normal, the Brunt ice shelf is feeling the same pressure as elsewhere around Antarctica, including low sea ice conditions. When less sea ice is present, ice shelves are more exposed to destabilizing wind and wave action. The less ice buffering these ice shelves from very, very damaging conditions, they get wrecked. They hit with sudden mile-an-hour, below freezing winds to warm winds that cause an influx of temperature. The remainder of the Brunt is still holding on to the McDonald ice rumples, but the new Iceberg A83, along with Icebergs A74 and A81 that broke off in recent years, have greatly diminished the ice shelf's area since early 2021. It's ice shelves that are becoming more vulnerable, that are causing all sorts of failures of sea ice. Take one more look at that. A83. Brand new iceberg in the Antarctic. I thank you for watching, thank you for listening and your interest in this topic. If you haven't already, please like the stream, subscribe to the channel. It helps me out immensely. As of right now, I don't know. I believe we went around all of Antarctica. We looked at as much as we could. As you go further south, it gets harder to find imagery due to the polar observations that satellites have. You get a lot less imagery of the Antarctica and Arctic regions due to the way the satellites have to traverse. Alright. I believe that is all that I have for today. Thank you for watching. Please take care.